Hello, hello.
What is up, everyone? What is up? Oh man, my mouse is freaking out. I think I have too many windows open. So sorry about that, folks. But we're here. We're here for another Tuesday, the Tuesday before Allegiance Con, and hopefully, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in the first hour, and then we are going to have a little segue. First time on the show, we did an interview with Quay Kundal from Corsair Creations. I mean, they're doing amazing work. They're the people behind the Tide Realm, which is doing the pirate figures. We had him on here before. We've always featured his work on our show. So we also have a couple of like surprises, a little new stuff that's dropping tonight for the first time, first sneak preview of it. So excited for that. But first, Chris, man, how you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm all right, man. Hanging in there. Got some stuff in this week, so that's fun. And excited to watch the interview with Quaid.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, though. He's always a joy to talk to, man. He's
Yep.
very knowledgeable, and and just he loves. You can tell from the passion and everything that he has that like he enjoys it. So
Yeah.
it'll be a fun watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I actually didn't. I was thinking about that today before the show. I don't think I got anything. I think I'm pretty, at least not right now. I mean,
That's
the
interesting.
storm, the storm. Well, I think I don't think I showed them off, but I don't have them with me. But the head packs, I got those from the
Horse.
the horseman head packs, the snake guy and the two female heads. I did do my pre-orders right at the deadline for the zombies.
The
I
zombies. Yeah.
got yeah, because I forgot they did shop pay, so I did like a payment plan on that. So I got the two males and then a female and then the accessory pack for the male zombies. So because we already have enough of those kind of heads that like we have the Beluthia and who else? We have a couple. There's a couple other or the Ghost of Chris's past or
Yes.
the past. Yeah.
Yeah. Your audio cut out, John. I'm gonna refresh because I can't hear you. Maybe it's on my end. Mic check. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. No. Toy photo guy said that he cannot hear you either, John. John saying, "Call me. We'll do this. We'll do this over phone three-way." Nothing yet. All right, just me today, guys. So like you were saying, Quaid with Corsair Creations, the last half of the show, so the last hour, we're going to be doing a pre-recorded video that John had interviewed with him. So it's going to be sort of those pirate figures, John.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know, that was weird. It was like a little glitch because I know my mouse. I don't know what's going on with that because whenever because at first I couldn't hear you
Uh-huh.
and you came back, you dropped out, and then I did see my mic had the little button on there for the mic had gone like it clicked on. I didn't click on it, so I don't know what happened. So that was weird. Um, let's see here. Oh man, I lost my screen. I lost my well. I'll add it back later. All the stuff I had to present, but yeah, if you want to show off what you recently got picked up, man, we can go through that.
Yeah, so this guy came in, and I was surprised he didn't come in for you. Did you get Red Hood?
I did it after the fact. I did it. So I'm probably gonna get him like early next year or so.
Um, Great design. They have sort of like the leather, but then there's fabric between the leather, so you get really good torso articulation. Love that.
Oh, nice.
cool sculpts. The sculpts look great. The jacket material is very nice. As far as the arms go, because the jacket and because there's so much material, this is probably the highest you're getting. And then moving forward, this is probably the highest you're getting. So the jacket does kind of limit things a little bit, which is kind of a bummer.
Okay.
Not a lot on accessories, but nice accessories. I wish it came with maybe like one more head. I think everybody in the
The
community
unmasked
is
head.
talking about it, but the unmasked head would have been
Yeah.
wonderful. My disappointment with this figure is actually with the legs. And so I think I've been in some of the groups today on Facebook, and this is like where you're kind of maxing out with the legs.
Are you serious? That
Yes.
far?
Yes. The reason
Wow.
is because the pants are kind of tight and they move into the boots. So it's kind of like the Mr. Freeze figure, if you guys have the Mr. Freeze figure. And so the articulation is a little limited, like this is probably like max before I'm afraid of ripping anything. And so with Mr. Freeze, it didn't bother me as much. He's not somebody I expect to be sort of like in these acrobatic poses, but I do feel like for Red Hood, he is, in that bat family, and he should be able to kind of hit some of those acrobatic poses. The bottom's good. The bottoms, you can get to maybe like that.
Yeah.
It's just sort of this upper portion. And so a little bit of an L for me, like I really like I don't particularly care for Red Hood. I'm more of a Dick Grayson guy, but the design's really great, and everything else that they did is really wonderful. I just wish they would have thought this issue out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And again, and it's only because it's this character. Like if it was Mr. Freeze, like I said, didn't bother me, but with a articulate acrobatic dexterity kind of character, it's like it seems like a little bit of an L. But I love how the guns fit in the holsters. Like that's so cool. He came with some guns, he came with some crowbars and a sniper rifle. So
Nice.
and then this is kind of fun. I got a Mezit that I did not have before.
Oh,
So
it came with him?
what?
It came with the Red Hood?
Yes, he came with a Mezit. And so
Nice.
this looks like a recolor of the army guy. So the little army helmet, but instead of I think the army guy, I forgot what he came with, but it was a different gun. And so now he's got like this little like
pistol
pistol
revolver.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You look really good with Joe's,
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, that is kind of disappointing though. It's like now that I'm kind of, because I've seen him in a lot of photos, but you know what? Now that you showed that off, I kind of like, you know what?
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen any kind of really crazy type of posing or anything with him. It didn't really, like stand out until you said that. I was like, wait a minute, man, it's like he's been kind of like in generic poses, but I'm sure people have maybe put him in different pants or have done some customization, which you shouldn't have to do for that, amount that you pay for a figure, but still, or even maybe risk, playing with him a little bit more, trying to get that articulation. But like I wouldn't. I would be so scared of risking it. Even with my suited figures, I don't even try to mess with it too much, or I don't even really try to keep them in like too many poses because I don't want to wrinkle the suits or anything like that.
Yeah.
Material. So I kind of just like I'll pose them for a little bit, take the photos, and then I'll put them back in like in a vanilla pose because it's just like it's too stressful. But that's kind of disappointing. But
Yeah,
me, it was the whole like I jumped on it at the last minute just because when he was still available. So I was just like, you know what, I'll pre-order it. I'll do deposit, and he'll get here when he gets here. So I'm not too again.
Yeah.
I like the Jason Todd story, and I like the fact they did come back as the Red Hood. He was first teased in Hush, and then came back fully. But I'm like you, I'm a Dick Grayson person, but I do like the Jason Todd version of Robin and his story and everything.
Yeah.
But I just wish, I wish they had that other head. I mean, they had the whole, and they're gonna come out with another one. If they came out with two Nightwings, they're gonna come out with another Red Hood, and he's gonna have the fully unmasked head.
Yeah.
So
Maybe if he's got different pants, I'll pick him up. But one positive though, I do want to really give this Mesco is the ankle articulation is awesome. So there's nothing kind of hindering the ankle. So even though you can't get him in crazy poses, you can still kind of like do something like a boxer pose kind of thing. So I do like that about it.
Sweet. Yeah, for me, like I said, I think before we had those technical issues, I hadn't had any Only thing I picked up was those heads that dropped. Everything else like pretty much just showed off. Now in a few days, that's when. Well, actually, you know what? I'm thinking about picking up. So, I actually got an offer on eBay. You know, I've been looking at different things on eBay, and I saw one for Vapor for 275. Now, is that a good deal?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know what Vapor's at now. Personally, I
He's
probably
I'm
yeah.
go
I
go
wouldn't pay
ahead.
more than me personally, I wouldn't pay more than 250 for a Vapor. And I don't have Vapor and I do really want Vapor, but that's just me.
Yeah,
That being said, the new hoods is coming out, right? And it's only
yeah.
going to go up in price, I would imagine. So, is it
That's
the
the cheap.
original one or?
It's I guess the blue face. He's got
Yeah, it's the original.
the was it the orange or red jacket, and then like
Yeah.
the yeah, and then the Doc Martens and everything. So, I don't know. I just been on a, especially after seeing all the Halloween stuff that they were doing, and
Yeah.
it seems like Mexico tends to like if you have a vapor, if you have something in your shot, it's like they tend to kind of even today. The Terra Tuesday was with vapor and was it Frank the Clown and
Art the
and
Clown. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just
I got it. I got it.
but no, it's just I think it's like I need. Well, he's cool too. He's a cool figure. You can always throw in any kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't seen him when I saw because originally it was 350, and then they dropped it. And then I guess because I would watch it on eBay, they dropped it at 300, and then they dropped it again because I went and looked at the offer, and they dropped it again to 275. And that's excluding tax and shipping. Shipping's like I think $12 or something like that. But still, I'm like, I haven't seen it that low. Now, Vapor Rooney's even crazier. I saw one
Really?
on Facebook was like 500, and
Really? For Vaporoni? That's crazy.
yeah, and I was just, and of course, it's sellers, choice. I mean, it's their deal, so they can say whatever, they can sell it for how much they want. But I was just like, that's crazy. But it's like, I mean, every other vapors I've seen on eBay, I'm just like, yeah, they've been in the 300 range, 300 and above. So the
Yeah.
first time I've seen it 275, so I'm just like, or even 400. I mean, 3, 4. I mean, that's. I'm thinking I may jump on this. I may have to jump on it because it's like I'm gonna regret it. And it looks like it's sealed too. It's not even open. It's not
Oh, well, that's
used.
good. That's good. It's
Yeah,
funny, I just looked on eBay real quick. Somebody's selling the box, just the box for $200.
yeah.
That's kinda
Exactly.
wild.
And we were just talking about that too. What was it like? I think in our chat because I was thinking about selling or not selling, but just getting rid of my Mesco boxes. And
Mhm.
then Rob's like, don't do it." And Dimitri's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have any space." And then KT's like, "Well, I mean, the resale value goes lower if you don't have the box." I'm like, "Well, am I really gonna sell these? Maybe,
Exactly, dude. Like,
maybe
are you really
some. I
gonna
mean,
sell them? Come on.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless times get really, really hard. I mean, they have to have a fire sale and start selling them. But even then, I mean, even without the box, because I literally like the space that I have them in. I mean, it's just filled with boxes. I mean,
Mm,
it's like 100 boxes of Mescos. I mean, that's about how many I have. It's just crazy. They're just empty boxes. That's all it is. I mean, everything is.
it
Yep.
is what you need, man.
Yeah.
This right
Well, I
here.
mean, I do the baggies with the in the big storage bin like KT does. So it's just
Yeah.
God, I have so many. Like I just and even that would be like I would have too many of those things like all around me. So the baggies seem like it compacts the space a little bit. So
That's fair.
but but yeah, I was looking at that too because like I know I'm gonna be getting a lot more stuff this weekend. And oh man, that was the thing too, Chris. I was like, oh, I was banking on you being my
The mule?
my pack mule. Dang, I just realized that.
Why can't Rob do it?
I had to ask him. I had to see if he'll be kind enough to do it, and because I ordered that Carver Customs Dio,
Yeah.
the snow one, because I've been having my eye on it for a while, and it was only for pickup only. So he's not shipping it, so it's like for pickup at the con.
Mhm.
And he hit me up on the side because he's been, it was offered to for sale, but nobody even bought it yet. And he hit me up on DM. I was like, yeah, dude, I really want it. So I was like, yeah, you know, paid him and everything's set, but it's like, how am I gonna, take it home?
Have
It's
you
like,
seen a photo of the box? Like, is it a real big box? Like, is it
uh,
usable, you know?
well, I mean, no, it's just a base. So it's just one base and of the for the dio, and it's got like a like a headpiece on it. really really cool. I think I'm gonna really get some use out of it for the when like Rise of Suns comes out, or the even the latest wave for Four Horsemen, or even just the finally I can use that polar bear that I have from uh the Joes, because I don't have anything snow related. But
Wait, there was a polar bear that came out for GI Joe.
Yeah, with Snake Eyes. It was a 2-pack. It was a Snake Eyes and Polar Bear. It was based on the Mastiff Ice miniseries. That was like the first animated show for the GI Joes. It was a 5-part miniseries, and
Oh
yeah, it was
man,
that's
I've
what
never
yeah
seen this.
yeah. I haven't took a picture of it because I just don't have anything snow related. I mean, I could probably fudge it, but I was like, well, I don't want to use fake snow and it blows all over the place and I got to clean it up. But
Yeah,
yeah, this right here is what if my screen doesn't get jacked up again. So this right here. So yeah.
nice.
I mean, it's a nice little base, but I mean, I don't know if he's gonna have a box for it or I'm just gonna go. He's gonna just give it to me like that. So I don't know yet. I need to
Mhm.
ask him, but I know I do want to get stuff from Crashbox Customs, and we can get into it right now. You know, Legion's Con. We're just talking Legion's Con and what to expect, but the yeah, I know Crashbox. They did give me a box for one of their space dials, and I want to get um, the little door that they have. It's like a wall panel, but it has a sliding door that opens up. So I want to get that. I've been having my eye on it. I hope they bring it. I don't know if they'll have it or not, but if they do, I'm definitely picking it up. And that's what I actually used for my carry on the flight. I just put that in the overhead.
Yeah,
And I could probably put some more stuff in there. I think I did too. I think I put a whole like because I brought baggies for figures because I didn't everything I opened up in the hotel room I just put it in baggies
yeah,
and I put in my suitcase or I put in that box that Crash Box gave me. So I mean, this would probably be the only big thing that I would need somebody to take back. I mean, I mean, I'm sure I can find somebody. I'm actually helping out with Anthony Toymer. I think he's gonna put some stuff in my room to kind of just store because I think he's gonna have to because he's actually working a table with
okay.
Detour Customs. So
Yeah, I got some
I
stuff
don't.
from last year.
Yeah, I told him like, yeah, just you know, yeah, if you need a storage space to, you know, just use my room, no big deal. But I may ask some folks just see if they can just take it back and then ship it back to me. So shouldn't be a big deal. I did that at Joe Fest. I mean, because it's hard. I mean, I'm coming all the way from Dallas. I'm flying, and
Yeah,
it's just I don't want anything to be damaged too. And normally I wouldn't be worried, but I'm kind of worried about this headpiece. If I put it in my suitcase, it might get crushed.
yeah,
And so, even though I am bringing a big suitcase, I'm bringing the same one I bring to all the cons. I mean, I basically pack like you know the right amount of clothes, the minimum, right? So one shirt per day, underwear per day, the same, one pair of jeans, my boots, and that's it. I'm just gonna that thing is pretty much gonna be empty, but on the way home, it's gonna be just packed with stuff.
tagged.
So,
Yeah,
I might get away um with putting this in there, but I don't know. It's like I'm just again the headpiece is what I'm kind of worried about, and then also he's got these too. I don't know if you saw that, but he's got these fireplaces,
that's cool. So
and
that'll be at the con.
yeah. I don't know how many he's gonna have. I think I saw the Toy Daddies were on a stream. I think Sunday, and they were talking about and maybe I think they were in talks with them. It may be a limited amount. So, and then that's the thing I got to figure out is like I'm definitely going to do the Full Horseman line first, just like we did last year, and then right after that go into the main vendor hall
Yeah,
and start kind of going all the tables. And I'm going to Carver's spot first because I mean if I can get if I can get the fireplace, that'd be cool. And then I could probably put that in my backpack. I mean, I'm gonna have my backpack. I'm gonna have my suitcase, and so I mean, it's just
yeah, and that's
other.
probably laser, or I'm sorry, printed. That's probably 3D printed, so it's like less likely that it'll get damaged than the
Damage, yeah,
Dio. You know.
exactly. So I mean, there should be plenty of uh, he's doing these mission boards too. I was like, oh, these quest boards,
That's funny.
and I think Pablo Pio Toy Box, he's doing these well. It's like they're so fun. It's like I'm gonna get one of these. I don't know if I'm getting it from Carver or from Pablo, but yeah, I definitely want to get a quest board. Those are always cool. But we can always go here to Legion's Con, a few days away. G-Con. So I'm actually going to be at G-Con this year. I missed out on it last year because I flew in on Friday, the day of. So I'm coming in Thursday. I think I fly in. My flight's like at around 11 or so, and then I get in like at like 3:30 in New Jersey, and then I'll take an Uber from the airport to the hotel. So I think it's getting out of there too, because I rode with my buddy Oz last year. And man, that airport's just, I mean, just get in and out of there is just crazy. So
It's pretty
I'm
wild.
sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So I imagine it's gonna take a minute for me to get to the hotel, but once I do, it'll be cool to kind of just relax and then be able to just hang out for a little bit at the. I mean, there's already people showing up. I think Jeremy's already there. Couple other people. I think people from the Purple Gang are there already. I mean, it's just a whole group's already. It's like, man, already? It's like it's only Monday. It's like
it probably takes a while to set up everything, you know.
For some people, yeah. But I wonder how early they get them to allow them to set up in the hall, though. That's the thing. Because usually I thought Fridays was like the time to get set up, or Thursday. Because I know we got our badges on Friday, and then we couldn't see anything yet, but we were able to walk around. But they were getting some of the displays and everything put up. So, which again, I don't know if they'll have that yet, because I know G-Con is supposed to be for the big reveals, and trying to wonder what the next wave is going to be, because they were teasing it, and even Jeremy had teased it on Facebook when he was saying, when he was posting that he's off to making the drive to Legion's Con, but he said he was set sailing to Legion's Con. So I was like, okay, he set sail, and we got this little story here, and it's like, what are we looking at? Are we looking at kind of parody type figures, kind of like Tide Realm, kind of like Corsair Customs, Creations, who did the they worked with the Horsemen to do the did the sculpting for them. So they're already dipping their toes in that pirate realm. So it's kind of like, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. I'm gonna be excited, to be there and see them live in person, for the for G-Con.
Yeah.
Toy Photo Guy says he's got a 3-hour drive tomorrow. Man, because intern for the day, that's Thursday, right? Right, Bill? It's Thursday. There's Quaid right there. They'll be conducting an intern for the day on Thursday, and G-Con set up this on Friday. Yep.
Nice.
Yep. They're not. Yep, exactly. They're not the only ones setting so. Exactly. Nice. So I think, that might have been a good, test for them. I think they may have maybe Quaid, you give them the idea for the to do the next wave, and then maybe there'll be a little collaboration with the Tyrone Pirates, because it's like those, we'll show them off here in a minute, but yeah, that's some great work, man. Absolutely. Toy Photo Guys say, yep, Thursday morning. I unfortunately I entered the lottery, but I didn't get it. So hopefully next year I'll get in there. But it's always a fun time. I know last year was, since it was the 10th year anniversary, they had a lot of people, and I think a lot of kind of like influencers type, or people with pretty big reach, or that are well known in the community, to kind of come and be a part of that. But I think, from what I was hearing, they wanted to kind of make it more special this year and have it be more like strictly, if you for the lottery, if you won, then yes, it's a smaller crowd. It's going to be more intimate, and you can kind of really spend time with the different people to kind of really see the whole operation, from head to toe. So
yeah. We're confident the lines will be very distinct. Love that.
Oh, there's a clue. There's a clue. Nice. I mean, I will. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but that will be cool to see what they come up with, and then have my Alistar, Morningstar figure, and then have what the Horsemen come in with, and be able to have them, intermingle, hopefully,
compliment each other. Yeah.
Compliment each other,
there, right? Bring the Mezco Popeye in.
Yeah, Crab Louie, get some Crab Louie action. Crab Louie,
yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, the last year I feel like it was just such a big year, because it was like the dragon reveal, and so they really wanted people there that were going to be able to share that information as much as possible with as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this year, I mean, again, because it's past an anniversary, still gonna be fun. It's still gonna be a good time. So, yeah, it's funny. Bill said a 3-hour drive, man. That dude.
Could be worse, Bill. Could be worse.
It could be worse, man. When I was dating my wife, man, she was up in the Panhandle. That was a 7-hour drive from where I'm at in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so that's love, baby. And I was like every weekend I was going up to see her, or she was coming down to see me. So I was like, that was that's because she was up in Amarillo and I'm down here in Dallas. So yeah, that's a pretty far drive. But
Uh,
anywhere here in Texas it's big. It's some people say like when I tell them that, oh yeah, we drove 3 hours to Austin. We go to that. I mean, 3-4 times a month. We'll go down to Austin,
mhm,
and hang out with family. That's a 3.5 hour drive.
yeah.
And they're like, man, I can cross like 2 states in that in that time frame.
Not Texas though. If it makes you feel better, toy photo guy Rob Toyetic, he's got an 11-hour drive. So just put on a good
Oh yeah,
podcast, a good audiobook or something.
yeah. That's why I do. Well, on the flight, yeah, depending on how I think it's like a 3-4 hour flight. Or I got my shows downloaded, or I got my podcast downloaded, so I'm gonna just put these on and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, toy photo effects can be bad. I have an hour plus commute every day. Yeah, I mean, back when I was in the office, that's again same thing. I was just like, I mean, yeah, I had like an hour drive, and we hopefully right now I'm still working from home, but I think that's going to change. But yeah, that was never fun, especially that right now. Like it's like before the live came, when I was getting set up for the live, it was like, man, it's like 5 o'clock and it's already getting dark out here. It's like that's crazy. It's just like imagine where you're at. It was already pitch black by 5.
Yeah, I was walking. I got out of work like around 5:30, and it was just pitch black outside.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, it's always kind of like, I hate this time of year. So I was like, it's like, what do we need? Daylight savings time. So, oh, Saber Strike 82 says I have a 12-hour drive from Knoxville Thursday. Oh, I see. He's going to make the drive. He's going to, we got a whole bunch of Tennesseans here, man. Because, yeah, I mean, you're, what do you call it? Or Kentucky. I'm sorry, Kentucky people
Well,
here. So it's like,
yeah, I'm about 4 hours from Knoxville.
from Knoxville. Yeah. It's like that whole little area, that whole little region there. We got a lot of people in there. So I don't know, man. Like I said, if you want, I can chip in for the rental car. Cause I mean, I really want to see you there, man. It's like,
No, no, no.
I mean, I'm willing to do that for you, Chris, because I just like I want to hang out with you, man.
It's
I was getting
just
hyped too.
Yeah, it's just logistics, man. Like I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. So
Yeah,
I'm fingers crossed.
yeah. For me, actually, it became more expensive, but it is what it is. Because I was gonna leave Sunday, but then I procrastinated. I waited at the last minute to get my flight booked, and I was like, wait, I couldn't find anything later in the day. Everything
Mm,
was like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and
yeah.
then if not, it was going to be if I wanted something later, it was going to be like flying down to Miami, have a layover there, have a 4 hour layover, and then fly to Texas. And then it's
What
like I
the
wouldn't
hell?
get, I would fly like I would get in like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would like if I 6 p.m. If my flight was at 6
Yeah.
Sunday, I would get in like at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like nah. So I went ahead and paid way the regular rate for the hotel room for Sunday just so I could stay Sunday night, and then I got my flight first thing Monday morning. So it's like yeah, it's fine. The and then, at least I get to spend an extra night there, so, because I didn't really get to hang out Sunday night because well, for one, I was tired. We know what happened Saturday, and I was still kind of in recovery
Yeah, yeah.
Sunday and everything. So I was just Sunday, like, you know what, I'm gonna just go back, go to my room and just just chill. So
Yeah.
hopefully this year, because people were still partying, they're still hanging out Sunday night. There were still a lot of people down in the lobby. So I'm definitely gonna be, you know, even though some people leave Sunday, I'm still gonna be there. So I'll definitely be hanging out with folks who's ever there still. So go down, go down to the pub, and then go to the in the lobby. That's pretty much where all the action's at, in the lobby. So it should be fun. Gonna be a good time. I'm excited. A lot of the pictures I've been taking lately has just been like kind of Legion's Con themed.
Mhm.
I got some of that stuff from last year I'm starting to use, and I'm gonna just hype up on my pictures because like, hey, you want some stuff like this, then come to Legion's Con. So
Are they going
or
to do a photo
check.
contest?
I don't know. I don't know.
That'd
It
be
would
fun.
be cool. It would be fun, just like Joe Fest. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
you would get a lot of participants to do that. I mean, if they did something like that. I don't know. I haven't seen anything, but maybe put that in their year for next year. Maybe do a photo contest and kind of get a little bit. I mean, because half the people, majority of the people that are going to this
Oh,
are photographers or they're customizers or something. I
yeah.
mean, then they're knee deep in the creative aspect of the collection. It's like,
Mhm.
I mean, I want to believe a small portion are just strictly just I just buy the figures and display them and that's it.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people do, are what we do, right? We, take photos of them and we, put them in these diorama scenes, or we make dioramas or whatever, right? We're in this immersive, world with them. So there was something here. Oh, that was a cool little with Greg. That was a nice little video that they posted. Again, just getting you more hyped up for the for the show. Oh, this was cool that they highlighted toy immersion specifically for toy immersion. That was really nice.
That was a great scene he set up.
Yeah. He does amazing stuff, man. I tell him all the time, dude. It's like, if Trevor ever, retires or he doesn't want to do it anymore, then you definitely could like just pick it up. I mean, you're the guy. I mean, so yeah, very nice stuff. But yeah, Legion's Con. I mean, man, I was kind of looking at my monies too. It's like, okay, because I saved for the whole year, right? It's like save my pennies, so I have bring some cash with me. I'm gonna have kind of prepare for kind of what I'm expecting last year. But if you really aren't going, if you're still on the fence for that, just let me know, because again, there's the exclusives. There's 2 years in a row, at least. Well, is it 2 or 3? The mystery figure. So
yeah.
There's
so
that.
It's usually like the 2 exclusives per day, and then there's that one like secret kind of figure that they always kind of have,
Yeah, on Saturday. So, and it's always just what was it last year? We were just waiting in line, and
the
what was
snake
it, Corn
guy.
Boy? Yeah, the snake guy. But then Corn Boy or Jeremy, somebody just walked by and just said like, "Hey, we got something special for y'all in there. Just wait."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
Like,
well, because we saw it in the display first. Remember, like they had it
right,
kind of hidden in the display, and we're like, "Oh, that's cool." We're like expecting that to come out in the future, and then all of a sudden they're like, "We got it." So
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, because we were like, "Oh, what, they didn't show that." I mean, we were like going back and looking, like, "Yeah, it wasn't in the G-Con. It wasn't in the reels or anything. What is it? Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And then once they said that, we're kind of like, "Oh, I bet you it's that snake person." So the snake guy. So yeah, but which was fun. So, but do you remember if they had a limit on the exclusives
I want to
or
say it was
not?
2 or something like that.
Yeah, because I think this year they don't have a limit though. So that's the thing. So I know Dimitri wanted the male um Reaver, or that male exclusive
Yeah.
character, the Reverend, I think is what they call it. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem. I think they usually get plenty. They bring plenty of those, I think. So
Well, I think last year, if I remember correctly, it started off and they're like limit, but then after everybody kind of waited in line, they're like they just opened it up. And so I think this year maybe they're just like, you know what, guys, like we're probably not going to run out. Let's just open up.
yeah, but because it is, I mean, because it was what you had the cosmic characters, and then you had um the mythic characters, which I don't know. It's like it seems like these may be a little bit more popular. I think, I don't know. Um, I would really be happy if they surprised us with this, allow him to be on the table, or allow him to be. I would be so. I wanted this guy so bad. Oh my
That'd be
god, I
cool.
wanted this guy. But man, I wanted that cleric so bad. He looks so good. But the Reverend, I'm definitely gonna get the one of each. But they said so. It's one single figure, right? Of one male and one female figure,
It
correct?
can't be this far back.
I thought that's, yeah. I'm trying to see. I don't, when they announced it. Yeah. If not, I'm gonna have to go to the site. Oh, there it is.
Well, they're
Yeah, it
talking
is
about
far back.
Armory. Yeah, they're talking about Armory. So
Yeah. So, but they said you have to get 4. So 2 of each to make each of the characters, though. But I guess that's because the pieces, right? It's like it's so many accessories that if you want to have like again, give this guy this chest piece with the I forgot what that's called, that type of chest armor. Then because he has this one like the leather bounded, then you have to get like two versions of the same figure to make the different versions, I guess.
yeah, but I think you're saying like, do you think it's going to come in a 2-pack where it's 2 of the figure, or do you?
No, well, no. Well, what I was wondering was, is it just one? Like, it's just one female figure, the same figure, just one of each, so the male
Gotcha.
and female, or is it really 2? But I think when I was reading, I think it is just one of each, but you have to buy 2 of each to make the different versions if you want to have like. But I don't know if I'm going to go that far, and I think my focus is just to get one of each, and then wait until the end of the con if I if I'm still good or anything, like okay, I might just get another set. I think there's
There's
gonna be 55.
there's stack though. I mean, four
Yeah,
heads, all those accessories, the cage, all that stuff. Like it's a lot of
yeah,
accessories, you know.
and it's gonna some of this. I think yeah, this is gonna be con exclusive. So that one's gonna be exclusive. That head's gonna be exclusive, and yeah, just so those two, and then same with the Reverend. He's gonna have let's see, so that's gonna be standard, and then that's gonna be the exclusive head, and then that's gonna be exclusive, and then that's gonna be exclusive. So it's like three exclusive hits. I mean, definitely I want to pick up at least one, definitely one, obviously, but then say, well, I may get another one just so I can get the different like again, because he has this like the different chest piece and
Yeah, the scale mail.
yeah, see,
Um,
that's what it is, scale mill. So
Ravens. I was saying, did they drop the price yet? I think John was saying 55.
I think it is. I think I saw 55 2 days in a week of, and then Saber Strike says no limit, just be reasonable. Yeah, that's what I saw in there, which I think people will. But I don't know. I think with these look like they may be super popular, so I don't know. I mean, hopefully, they don't get too crazy, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like with these type of with the skeleton figures and like the zombified figures and everything, it seems like these may be popular figures that they get them. So Chris Pitsy Pig says, "What's up, fellas? Almost time. You going, Chris? You gonna be at Legion's Con? I'd like to see you out there, man. Shoot. I'll be the one in this hat, and then I'll have a geeked out click hoodie. I don't think you'll be able to miss me." Oh, Raven said 55 was the Legends of Mythos.
Hmm.
Do they show it on here? Yeah, it says price to be determined. I thought I saw
Right.
it somewhere. Let me look at the Legion's Con website. Because yeah, I was doing the math on that. I was like, wow, but 55. I was like, it's pretty steep, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Let's see your show figures.
I was a little bummed nothing for Cosmic this year. That we've seen so far. Maybe they'll
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, maybe it can be a surprise. So, and there's one on here. So, oh, maybe
55.
that's where. Yeah, and maybe. Oh yeah, all these figures will be offered on both days of the con. So, yeah, so there will be a total of 4 brand new show figures available at Legion's Con. So yeah, all of them are gonna be 55. Wow. I mean, I'm good with skipping on these. I mean, so I mean, if I really,
Scaphoid? You're not gonna get Scaphoid?
is it this guy here, the green
Yeah.
guy? I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, I gotta see how because have they even announced what days each one's gonna be on, or is it still?
It says both days up at the top where you were reading
Oh,
the price.
okay. So yeah, then
Um,
they have to have plenty of stock if they plan on having both. Because wasn't it like Saturday was like the mythic characters, and then Sunday was like the
yeah.
cosmic. So I mean, yeah, they had to have plenty of stock. There's I mean, there's no way, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, Scaphoid, I feel like, because he's a remake of an OG. And so it's like, and I think the dwarf guy is, I don't collect the dwarves, but Sir, yeah, Valgard, he's also a reimagining of the original. Plus,
Yeah,
it's kind of fun that he's got the little dwarf legs, but then he's also got the like regular humanoid legs.
don't turn away the dead emerald. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he looks really cool. Again, I'm not sure. I mean, because I really don't. I like the fact that you can turn the other guy from a dwarf to a full like full size figure, or full like regular size human, I guess. But the I don't know. I just it's so much, and then like that's just the four horsemen, and then whatever else they come they have at their table and stuff that I'm definitely want to get. I want to get another undead pack from. I'm sure they'll have it on the table, or if they have the that one head pack from All Stars, I think
Mhm.
was it the yeah. So there's so much. I mean, Saber Strike says this is my first Legion's Comics man to drop 600 just the exclusives.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah. I think I brought with me, I think 1,000. I think I spent like a 1,000 last year, and like both like I had cash and on my credit card. I think it was a total of like a 1K. So, and that was just with everything else. I mean, buying Dio accessories. Because again, that's just the four horsemen. But then you have like, you go into the main vendor hall, and then that's when you can really get in trouble because just see stuff, random stuff. I was buying heads for like $20, just boom, 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 just like
Accessories, like
accessories.
so much.
You bought a fire hydrant. I mean,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
so jealous that you got that fire hydrant and
I
Toy
got
Mirth. I
two
mean,
fire hydrants. What was the guy? Detour. Detour was the one that made like the really nice one. I really liked his hydrant.
well, so there's Detour and then there's Duarte. Duarte was, I think that's where you got it, was Duarte.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah, it's Duarte. Yeah, yeah.
Duarte, yeah, yeah. So, uh, yeah, he makes great stuff. I think, and Toy Mirth was at his table last year, but this year he's going to be with Detour. I think that's what he said in the group chat. But Detour does good stuff. I think Bill got that. He got that racer, that kind of like that land speeder type vehicle that he brought to the con, which looks really cool. I thought about it, but then I was just, again, I just bought so much more stuff, and I got to travel with that.
Hmm.
It's like, KT, he left. He's like, I was like, because I had all this stuff. Like, dude, where's KT? I'm gonna give it to him. He's like, oh, he left already. Like, what? So I had to like, again, kind of play around with it. Thankfully that Crashbox custom box, came in handy, and I can put stuff in there. So, but yeah, this year I gotta see, I gotta get it. I gotta play it pretty safe. But I still I want to get stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to get, or you'd have to wait for,
Yeah,
and shipping and pay for shipping.
yeah, yeah.
If there's some way I can just get it, and take it home with me, I'm gonna try and do what I can. Raven says you need to get that boat from Detour if you haven't. I know, man. That boat looks so good. Have you seen it, Chris?
No.
Let's
Is it
see.
like a dinghy boat or is it like a full size boat?
No, it's like a, what do you call it? A classic looking boat, like during medieval. Here, Josh, First Strike Fix, did a photo of it.
Oh, nice. Okay. So it's like a
Yeah, so
Viking.
Viking boat, yeah, something like that. A rowing boat. So yeah, really, 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 really nice looking stuff. Yeah, Viking skiff. There you go.
I need to get like a little dinghy boat. That's what I'm kind of trying to get my
It's
hand.
funny that that picture I did of Popeye and
Yeah.
Crab Louie.
Yep.
That boat, I found it in my wife's, like, it's one of our spare bedrooms, but she used it as a craft. Like, she stored, like, in the closet. She stores all her crafting stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was looking in there for some hot glue because I needed to hot glue something. And I was like, "Where'd this boat come from?" And I was like, "Hey, where'd this come from?" It's like, "Oh, it was a. You remember so and so gave that to us as a housewarming? They it's like just like some boat they found at Hobby Lobby or something like that, or some home and goods store." I was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna use it." So I decided,
It's kind of perfect. Like that's what made me think of. I was like, yo, I kind of need like a little dinghy boat for like Popeye shots and stuff like that. And
yeah,
that's funny. You just found it somewhere. That's great.
yeah. I mean, well, I find a lot of stuff like that with my wife. I mean, because like all the greenery stuff I've been using, like it's hers because she just
Yeah.
goes to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, whatever, for like, for the house to decorate, when it's fall season, or when, right now when it's, coming up on Christmas, she's getting ready to start decorating the house for Christmas. So it's a lot of stuff I just use, I think she got some trees. I think she got some Christmas trees to,
Nice.
like smaller ones to kind of put around the house. So I'm thinking like, I may have to take some of those and use them for some stuff, at least in the background, to kind of like provide some depth, some, that, a dense forest in the background. So,
Sure.
but it's funny. I just saw that. I was like, "What the heck? Where'd this come from? Like, what are you doing with like a little boat?" And it's, oh, something, because I guess you can put flowers in it or something like that, or it can be like a little holder for something. That's
Hmm.
what it's supposed to be for. But like, no, I'm using it to do a photo.
Yeah, but that
But
this boat, this skiff, I guess,
yes,
is awesome looking too.
Skiff. It is, man. It's nice. Let's see here. I think, yeah. So like a little bit of close-ups of it. See, I would be so worried of that breaking, man. I would be so freaking scared. That
Mhm.
would definitely be. I mean, I could probably get away with putting that in my backpack and just holding it, close and holding it tight, make sure it doesn't, crunch underneath the seat. But it does look good. It does. And see all this stuff here, man. It looks. I mean, you can go crazy just buying. I think somebody most mentioned in the chat. There's a. Yeah, Saber Strike said, I'm looking to load up on soft goods, capes, tunics. I mean, all that kind of stuff you can find
Mhm.
at Legion's Con. Bill said there's a FedEx location about 4 miles away from the Marriott. I mean, I've heard that too. Yeah, I just again just the of getting stuff shipped out to you and then doing it that way. So um, I don't know. It all depends on what I have, right? I don't know exactly what I'm going to be, getting or taking home or trying to take home. So it's just yeah, it's always fun to kind of play that. I know with Joe Fest there was stuff that I had to send home with people, and I paid them to ship it back to me. So I think I actually got some dial like a rooftop dial at Joe Fest, and like there was no way I was traveling with that.
Yeah.
There was no. I've used it in some of my shots as the background in conjunction with the other rooftops that I have, the set that I got from '78.
Mm.
But yeah, there was like something like that. Like there's no way because it was made. It was laser cut printed, but it still had like some of the foam attached to it, like as in parts of it. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But oh no, we'll see, man. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff out there. I know Toy Mirth is gonna have some cool stuff. Yeah, there's Detroit right there. So with the skiffs. Oh, and there's the racer right there. I think yeah, that's the. Oh no, actually, is that the same one, Bill, that you had? That looks different. Holy crap, that looks wow. No, I think
Pretty cool.
no, that's the actual ship though. It's like that's I think you had like the racer, but now that's the actual. That is nice. Wow. Dang, Raven Eyes. Why didn't you tell me about this one here, man? He said that's the new one for the year. Yeah, that looks amazing. Wow. Yeah, because the one he had was like the little kind of just speeder thing, like a bike, like a speeder bike, but it's like had a big like a ball type head. So
Are they pre-painted or do you paint them yourself?
I think some of them are. I know some are painted, and I think some of them are not. So it depends.
Hmm.
He says, and he was talking about printing the hood in clear acrylic. Oh, nice.
That would be excellent.
Yeah, especially for pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, both. So yeah, it's paint. Yeah, he has stuff that's painted and unpainted. So and
Cool.
again, it gives you an option if
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
And it would be probably cheaper unpainted, and then you just have somebody paint it. I can just give it to you and hey, paint this for me, or yourself if you bought it unpainted because I can do this at the house when I get home.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I'd paint the shit out of that.
And then we're saying, no, sorry, not the cosmetics. Come on, man. Toy for mine came blank. Yeah, I don't have the artistic touch to it. My hands shake too much. I just can't do the painting. I can't. I'd rather just buy it. If I was gonna get one unpainted, I would pay somebody to paint it for me. So, but real quick, we can before we segue to the next half of the show and before we show off some amazing art. Want to bring up this here for Mesco because this was the sneak preview. This is for tomorrow,
For tomorrow.
the Hulk. So this is automatic, but I'm actually some people were kind of happy and upset because
It's not up on the screen, John.
Oh, it's not. Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, you could see it, but yeah. So yeah, some people were upset that it wasn't or buy it now. Well, some people were upset that it's like, why is this coming now with Legion's coming up? But it's a pre-order, so you know what?
Pre-order,
$29 deposit. It's the, well, for some people it could be ticket gas or that could be your meal at Starbucks or something. So I mean, it's like, hey, just you want to get gas that day, just get the Hulk. But I mean, it just yeah, I'm definitely gonna pre-order it. That's 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 a given. This is like I'm already getting into like the classic Marvel, figures with Spidey, and I got the Cap, I got Wolverine, got to get Thor now. I'm actually been looking back and trying to get they've only done one Iron Man, right? Or one classic kind of Iron Man, Silver Age, Golden Age, whatever it is.
They've done a couple Iron Men, but only one Silver Age
Like
Iron Man.
like the one that would match with Cap and
Yeah.
with Spidey. So yeah.
No, I'm excited about this. I was very tempted by the what's that other company that's coming out with a Hulk? It's like 112 something.
Is it? Oh, yeah. I think I can't remember the name. Crap. KT was on it, or Dimitri. Dimitri would know. Yeah, and then there was that one. I guess it was. I guess I don't know if it was custom or maybe it was third party from Henrock. I don't know if you've seen those pictures that he's done of that Hulk figure.
No.
Those will look really good. But I can't remember if it was. if it was a custom job or if somebody actually, if it was made by a company. But yeah, it came out good. So
If anybody knows in
I
the chat, let me know. But again, the reason I was so tempted by that figure was because of this face sculpt. And so I'm really
yeah.
glad to see that they used this specific iteration of the Hulk on it, at least for one of the heads, you know? So this will definitely be my Hulk. And this is, I have passed on every single other Marvel related Mezco just because like I feel like my segue into collecting was with Marvel Legends and I had all of these guys, you know. And so I just never shot them. And so this I can't pass up on. Like I need a Hulk. I feel like, you know, Hulk is somebody you could use for
Yeah, man.
yeah, like plenty of other shots, like even not Marvel related shots. You know, it's fun to just have a big hulking kind of character for your roster to shoot from.
Yeah, see, this is Henrox. I don't know where this he got this guy from. I don't know. Again, I can't remember. It's a custom. See, it says right there from Beastly Studio. But I mean, this thing. Yeah, so as he was showing this off, I was like, "Holy crap, man!" So when, when is Mesco going to come out with the? Because they had already teased it, right? They had already teased the Hulk and everything. So
You're like, hey,
I,
Rock, did you get the figure ahead of time?
yeah, exactly. So I thought he had some more pictures of it where he was kind of showing it off. But man, I mean, it's gonna be such a cool figure. Now, you think it's gonna have different head sculpts as far as the different eras, or is it gonna be like this one and then kind of like a neutral face, or kind of?
I would imagine, yeah, like I'm guessing three head sculpts, one that's kind of like this face, and then one that's maybe more like a contemporary Hulk, you know, and then another
Mhm.
one.
Because
And
this he looks like he kind of has like the yeah, this version that he's kind of have like the bowl cut
yeah,
a little bit. So which again, I don't mind. And you think it's gonna be kind of like on the Thing Buck, or?
I don't know. I'm hoping a new buck. The thing buck seems like it'd be a good fit. I'm just hoping it's not on Bluto buck. Um, and then
Hmm.
as far as accessories, you know, hoping some bent pipes, you know, some a
Yeah,
telephone pole or a light pole kind of stuff like that.
which
Maybe
they've done before. Yeah.
maybe like an impact crater. That'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, you can use that for a lot of things too. I don't know. Like I said, this is automatic. It's not even worth the not even it's not even a question. It's like, yeah, are you gonna get? Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pre-order it. So, but of course, it's of course, Mesco. Everyone's getting hyped up for Legion's Con and kind of like trying to save their pennies and getting everything in order. And it's like then they drop this. But again, thankfully it's a pre-order, so we can just be like, look, it's a pre-order, so we're going to just do a just do a deposit.
Yeah.
Won't take your money up front, and which is funny because I just realized I got the full charge for Nosferatu, the black and white one, but he hasn't shipped yet. And then I forgot it's Mesco, so yeah, it's like it'll probably come in another another couple of weeks or something, or maybe while my Legion's Con, I'll get the notification that he shipped. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of funny how that works because yeah, Red Hood. I know Rob got his. Well, Rob, I think he posted in our chat that he got the Yetis on the way. So
That's
the
cool.
Doc Knock. So and then you got Red Hood pretty quick. So and it's funny how they do their kind of fulfillment as far as you know they like, yeah, so you're gonna get charged, and but
Yeah.
he hasn't shipped yet. So which again, I'm not in a rush or anything. So
It is funny. Like right now I should have a Nightwing, a blue Nightwing
yeah.
right there on my shelf, and
Yep.
instead I got a red hood. I don't know.
Yep.
Who knows, right?
Did you see that somebody actually has got the blue Nightwing already?
Oh, they get him in hand. Nice. That's promising.
Yeah, posts. It's too far back. Oh, that's a nice picture. Who did this? Oh, really nice. Yeah, somebody post. Oh, I think yeah, this is it right here. Well, one somebody here. So somebody's got a Nightwing already.
Okay, the blue one. That's cool. Good to see.
So I think it's legit. I think and I've seen a couple other posts too on Mezco tags, and I was kind of like I was thrown for a minute. I was like, wait a minute, what the heck? Like somebody already has the Nightwing. But again, I didn't get him, so I was like, I'm fine.
Scroll
I'm
back
fine
up.
with
That's
that.
kind of a grail for me. The Lawmaster. Scroll up a
Which one?
little bit. One more. Right there, the Judge Dredd one with the dinosaur in the background. Mezco came out with that Lawmaster when they dropped the Judge Dredd, and that was before I was collecting. But man, now it's very expensive. But that's kind
Oh,
of
the actual. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. With it had, I think it had lights. I don't remember.
Jeez, man. Because yeah, when they do vehicles, man, they do they do them right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I mean, yeah, the Vaporini is like I'm on the fence about just because I mean, so the regular Vapor, I feel like I need to go ahead and just jump on that, even though Legion's Con is coming and he's 275, and he'll end up being like over 300, but it's like, man, I don't know. It's like I feel like that would be I would have a better shot, again, it's some little bit exposure because it seems like Vapor anything is going to be you're going to get Mesco's kind of attention. It seems like I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe that's just me.
he's just such a great stand-in figure
Yeah.
for and then he's got those really expressive face sculpts,
Yep.
which like not a lot of figures have, and so he's good for reacting to stuff. He's good for getting into trouble kind of shots.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
But what I can't
But
believe is that Vaporoni is more expensive than the original Vapor. I can't believe that. That's crazy. But you're
it
right.
just seems like maybe he's more niche. I mean, because yeah, like the fact that he was 500 on Facebook, I've seen him even
Yeah.
more. I did have a chance to get him like at a reasonable price, like a 3 something, I think, at one point on eBay, and I missed on it. And then I know the guy actually got who got him, and he was like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah.
man," it's like crap. It's like how the heck? I think he's been using it too, and I think he used them in a couple of his Halloween shots. But yeah, I was just like, dang it.
He
It's like
tags you
that's
in
a
the shots.
well, no, yeah, that would be because we were on the Discord and he was like posting everyone, go, guys, look at this. I got this paper for, this great deal. And I'm like, wait, that's the same one I was looking at.
That's funny.
I just hadn't, like, I was kind of going back and forth. That's why I'm worried about kind of doing that, kind of just, hem and hawing and not, making a commitment. Cause I'm just like worried that I'm going to miss out on it. So, because again, just to get them at, with shipping, tax, and everything, just over 300, I think like I may have to take that. I may have to I meant to jump on it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But let me see here because yeah, when I exited out, I messed up my settings. But will this open up? Yeah, there we go. So let me take that off real quick. But yeah, I want to show everyone a quick sneak preview. It's going to be on Corsair Creations socials tomorrow. But thankfully, Quaid, he was so gracious enough to send us some advanced photos of it's some illustrations done by a very talented artist. Make sure his guy say his name correctly. Noah Calabrero. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. But Noah, yeah, I think he said he was 16. Very, very, very talented artist. But yeah, I want to show off this great illustration of Deathmoid. I mean, amazing stuff. And they are planning on doing a chapter book in the future, but this is just some concept art. And again, and when we segue to the show, we kind of talk about it when we did the recording with Quaid. But yeah, Deathmoid. I mean, you see this here, right? You see Deathmoid in the front there, and then you see in the background like all the different other pirates, right? His whole squad, and you're just like getting so antsy, going like, I want to see. I mean, I want all of that. Just give me all. Just give me that whole set. I mean, I would buy it in instant. Just skull, skeleton pirates. And I mean, again, it's so cool when you can have something tied like this with figures. It reminds me when I was a kid growing up. You had the cartoon, you had the comic book, and you had the figures. You had all that all together in one, right? It was in you. It was in you from all sides. You couldn't get away from it. You'd have the figures, you'd play with them, and then you'd have the cartoon you'd watch on Saturday mornings, and then you'd have the comic book if you were old enough to read. Even though I wasn't, I mean, there were comic books, so I can just like open them up and just like look at the pictures and just kind of just look at them, like, oh man, this is the Team Man punching out, Trapjaw. But no, this is some good stuff. I mean, it's really, really good, for them to show this off. And thankfully, again, very gracious for him to, give us the opportunity to have it, do the premiere of these illustrations,
So
on
cool.
our live show.
Yeah. And it sets the tone for the line a little bit, like you have this imagery and it kind of like, gets your mind thinking about sort of like what maybe some of the storyline is for this line, right? So that's exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's Deathmoid, and then let me bring up Cabritus. Let me see here. Make sure I don't screw this up. So this is the other captain back there. The little crap. I always get it mixed up. It's the
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. There you go. I always mess up that name, but yeah. And again, you see the squad, right? You see the different characters. Again, could be, it could just be constant, or it could be something that's truly going to be coming. If the Kickstarter, is successful, which I told Quaid, hey, I feel like this is going to just go over really quickly. And the thing, it's just 3 figures, right? You're just starting off with 3 figures, the 3 different factions, 3 different captains. But this builds in like sort of that, excitement. Like we want to see more of this. And like we were talking about earlier, I mean, this could really fit in with like Popeye or even Crab Louie. You can just like stick these guys in there, even if they're not to scale. I mean, some of these characters could be bigger and would fit in just because they're supposed to be bigger.
Right.
But yeah, Noah, he did an amazing job on this. And I think it was Edge Comics who was the I guess that printed everything out. They put everything together. So yeah, just great stuff, man.
That guy on the back right looks really cool too. He kind of reminds me of that He-Man guy, Trapjaw, right? That's the name.
Yeah, Trapjaw. Yeah, it kind of does a little bit. Yeah, or and then or even Clawful. Clawful could be fit in here because he was the lobster type creature that was with Skeletor. But yeah, I mean, so grateful for them to give us the opportunity for this, man, because this is so great. And again, it's just everything's just pirate themed. It seems like, well, again, assuming right with what 4 Horsemen bring, the whole set sail. And again, we just Quay was in the chat earlier. I think he's because these were sculpted by the Horsemen, the 3 figures that they're going to have on the Kickstarter. So I mean, he may have his ear to them and be like, we're not going to overlap, right? You're not going to steal our thunder. You're not going to take the wind out of our sails. And so I think it'll be, like you said, it's very going to be distinct. Which again, I mean, the more the merrier, man. Anything seafaring. I mean, I'm all for. I love being on the water. I love the ocean. So it's just like anything like that. I'm always for it. And then the last one we have, and then it's pirates. We know it's going to be a group of seafarers. Which again, I mean, it could mix very, very well with these figures. I mean, I think it'll be fine. Next one is Alistair Morningstar. Now this guy I can't wait. This is the one I saw him first. And again, sometimes I get more skeletons, and then the human figures are kind of like what I gear to the most. And yeah, Alistair, and then you have a female pirate. Then you have 2 of his crew in the back there. It's just like it just gets you more hyped up, and it's just like, man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Now you didn't show me this off air, and so this is my first time seeing this. And like you said, I'm very glad that there are some, sort of like standard pirate figures. Because I mean, how many shots can you think of where you're just like, this would be great to just have like a stand-in kind of pirate figure. So I mean, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, even just to have like a tavern, have like a little bar type scene, something like that. Like that one. Crap, that was that Kai Labs, the one that Rob got, or there's one that was kind of like almost like a
little sea shack. Yeah,
like a sea shack. And I think that one would work really well with characters like this. I mean, it'd be a fun little shot. So Raven Eye says Corsair definitely has my attention for my future pirate collection. Yeah, man. I think they're gonna be surprising a lot of folks. Let me
Saber Strike. I was thinking the same thing. I'm saying it now. I think 2026 is going to be the year of the Pirates for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So really great stuff, man. Again, this is gonna be on their socials tomorrow. So glad that we could share it here first. And
where can we find their socials?
Yeah. So in the show, I'll have it on the little banner at the bottom. But yeah. You can see them on Corsair Creations on Instagram. Let me drop that in here. Check them out. Give them a like and a follow. Pretty good, man. They're up to 3,519 followers. Not bad. And I know they sent over where they have kind of what they're going to have for their table. So, yep. Raven Eye says Jedi has his table right next to him, so I can sit back and plan my future shots. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna be going back and forth, just like around that. I think they're gonna be outside of the main hall. They're gonna be in just like kind of like last year. There's a group of tables just outside of the hall, the main vendor area, and then you can kind of walk by there, and they'll be set up. Let me see here. Let me try and share. So I think this is kind of like how they're gonna have set up a little bit. So I think he's gonna have like these dials set up, and then, which is funny because I think I've been mentioned off air or mentioned to him like, that's so cool. God, these look so good. Yeah, I think I actually know where that dial is from. It's somebody. It was a seller on eBay, and actually I tried buying it one time and it actually broke on the shipped over to me. So I had to
Oh
kind of
no.
like, yeah, so I had to get a refund. But I know exactly this dial. It's where it's from. Or I could probably even go back and see who the seller was. But oh, man, he's gonna be so good. Yeah, Tide Realm.
The paint
Oh
apps
man,
really great.
they are, man. They are. I mean, and this is their IG here. So again, very, very. I mean, just again, sculpted by the Horseman. I even told in the I told Quaid like that'd be kind of something I would want to if I was you want to promote a little bit, kind of just
Mm-hmm.
throw it out there. I mean, you're at Legion's Con, so just kind of just throw it out there that hey, Four Horsemen sculpted these, and so immediately a lot of people's antennas go up. I'm like, what? So it's like, I mean, it was sculpted by the Horsemen. It's like, okay, well, I definitely need to check them out because it's just having that stamp, that stamp of approval, right? That little bit of a, you know, you check in that box as far as like you're at the convention that the Horsemen are featured. It's their convention, so yeah, I definitely want to kind of just throw it out there, a little nugget. Death Moid, and then all three of them. So again, Kickstarter, once it kicks off, I mean, I'm definitely gonna back it, want to support them as much as I can. We'll be promoting it on our show, promoting it on our group page for Geeked Out Click. So I definitely want to do that for him. I mean, Quaid's a nice, he's a gracious guy. He's a great guy. Super talented, and just he has that passion. He has the passion for the project, for the lore and everything. So that's always nice to see. So, but I think at this point, yeah, I think we can go ahead and segue and then put it on the recording that we did. I think, well, I did. It was it was supposed to be me and Dimitri, but Dimitri, I think I think he was still dealing with his teeth issue. He had his what do you call it?
Wisdom.
His wisdom teeth taken out. So now he's dealing with that. But yep, let me kick us out, and then now again, hopefully no technical difficulties. This is our first time doing this, so we're going from our live stream. We're still gonna be live, but I'm gonna be playing the recording from this past this Saturday with Quaid. So let me kick us out, and I'll bring in the video.
Take care, y'all. See you next week.
Yep. See y'all next week. Welcome everyone. This is something different, different than we normally do. We're probably coming over from our live stream to give Mr. Quaid Kundal from Corsair Creations, a little, airtime, a little, hype up what he's got coming down the pipe. I can't wait because it's gonna be in a few weeks. We'll be at Legion's Con, and I can see these amazing figures up close. But Quaid, man, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. We're really, really excited and really, really overwhelmed is not the word, but there's a lot to do in the next 2 weeks. There's quite a bit of packing still to figure out, and these prototypes are fairly delicate, so
Yeah.
it's fairly meticulous getting them in a state that's ready for an airport that we have to get them through. So there's a lot to figure out between now and it's less than 2 weeks away, which I've been saying to myself all year long that I'm going to blink and it's here, and here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a live stream earlier today, and I was talking about that with somebody, and it was just like crazy how, I mean, it just seems like yesterday I was in New Jersey at the Marriott, and just meeting all the great people. And last year was my first Legion's Con, so yeah, it
Was
was quite impressive. Yeah, I've been to a couple conventions, just out of town because I'm in Dallas, so that it's a trek to get out there. But I love it. I
Right.
mean, the camaraderie, everything was was fantastic. Is this gonna be your first time at Legion's Con?
This is our first Legions Con. This is our first toy convention, period. This is something I've always wanted to do my whole life. And I did not think that my first go in would also be, displaying my toy line. I've been invested in the
Mhm.
hobby for forever. I think one of my smaller passions when I was 8 or 9 or whatever was to go to BotCon someday, just because it was about Transformers. I had no idea what the event was or what went into making it, but it always sounded fun. And this, every time somebody talks about Legions Con, it sounds like how I pictured a toy convention being as a child. When you get down to the nitty gritty of what something like San Diego Comic Con is, it's vast in scope, but there's just so much to take in, and so much of it is very commercialized. I mean, people are there selling things, and they're doing the same thing at Legion Con too, but it's not an interpersonal experience like how Legion's Con is being described. And it was actually very, very helpful to me that the company just put out that little documentary, just spending about an hour talking about the experience, and that helped prepare me for what I was in for. It didn't necessarily bring up anything new, but it gave me a picture of what to expect. And it was really, really pleasant seeing faces that over the course of these last 3 months that I've gotten to know just through talking about what we've got coming, what they've got coming. And there's a lot of intentionality surrounding what this convention is, who's a part of it. And we're honored to be able to be there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I just I can't wait. I mean, last year when I went. I mean, the experience is so. I mean, you just make memories, and
Mhm.
it's so fun. I mean, just going as a, as a customer, someone,
Right.
and meeting all these people that hang out with, or that we're in chats all the time, or in live streams. This medium. I can only imagine, yeah, as a vendor, and then being able to show off, what you're gonna bring, and what we're all excited for. I mean, this line is just something that I feel like, man, it's like it's one thing that we've been kind of missing is pirates, sea, sea creatures, stuff like that. I think it just for me, like I just cannot wait to see them up close and just I mean, just yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't wait.
We don't get tired of hearing things like that, and that's almost all we hear, which is phenomenal. We just like to start hearing even more of it, and that's our hope at Legion's Con, is that it'll become, I'm expecting to see a lot of the people that we already hear on a regular basis that are interested and invested in this, and I think it'll just become even more real for them when they're in front of folks, because not only is it's just hard to relate to an object when you're just looking at a photo. It doesn't matter whether you're Hasbro or Mezco or anyone below it. An image is an image, and it's hard to get your head around what an object is and how you're going to feel about it until it's in person. And the Horsemen are, of course, so good about putting something together that's as close to final as possible. So what people have in front of them is essentially what they're getting. They can't move, but they look like they would do all of the things they would that they're naturally designed to do. And the fact that these are 7-inch scale, they're fairly substantial to look at. So I think they're just going to be impressive in person alongside the backgrounds that we've engineered for them, which some really, really talented diorama um, artists put together. We had a couple of the displays that we've got for them were mostly put together by someone else, but Charybdis's specifically was almost entirely painted by my wife and I. I mean, we've taught ourselves how to do a little bit of everything when it comes to this. And I guess I did a lot for Alistair's as well. It's Death's Moids, who was pretty much ready to go. But that was just fun immersing ourselves into a little bit of the world that you have something more tactile and more substantial to look at than just the figure. It's really, really gratifying to have them in an environment that's envisioned, dedicated to them. And I think that's something that folks will respond to. And we've worked, we're working with not very many resources, but we've worked really, really hard to have as professional looking of a display as possible. And our booth is hopefully going to draw eyes to it because we've put in quite a bit so that we got some solid advice from CB while we were getting to the tail end of the production of the
Okay.
prototype phase, and he was like, don't just put your figures on a table. At least get some risers. And I was like, well, we'll probably go a little further than risers, but you want to put as much craft into your presentation as you did your product, and it's our hope that that'll come across to folks. We are going to have some photo examples of what to look for at Legions Con, as far as it's just a mock-up of what the booth is going to look like. It's a little bit smaller than what's actually going to be there because the table we had was just not very substantial, but it'll give an idea of what folks are walking into and how much to expect on that table.
Sweet, sweet. And then I can actually pull this up real quick. This is I think this is the latest map. So yes, I think you guys are, let's see.
Down at the bottom somewhere.
Oh,
There.
I see eight. Oh, I see 87. I can't zoom in on
Yep.
here. That's the only thing that's annoying. But yeah, I think it's, yeah, you're on yep, right here. So yeah, this is the outside, and this is like the main hall area, the main exhibitor hall. And so yeah, definitely need to check out booth 87.
I don't know that I don't think so anyway, because I believe Jeremy clarified that for me, but I don't think the lineup of who's on the bottom there in the hallway is reflective of their positioning in the room. I think they're going to figure
Okay.
that out the day of. At least that was my understanding. But that is where we'll be. And honestly, as somebody who's having to learn very much to be, the face of a company, I'm not a social butterfly. I never have been. And so I'm grateful not only for the opportunity to be there, but I'm also grateful that my little home base is actually not going to be in the most crowded part of the environment. So I can go back and take a breather for a minute before I'm excited not only as an exhibitor but also as a customer. There's I started as a Four Horsemen fan as well, regardless of the fact that I'm part of the whole universe for like 9 months, and now I'm making my own figures. But aside from that, there's stuff they're putting out that I'm excited for too, and I have no idea how I'm going to make the time for it. But I also would love to track down some of the convention exclusives and hopefully have a chance to go through the armory. And there's all kinds of fun things to do there. It doesn't really stop, and I think that's what makes it so fun. Is it's this intimate little experience for 3 days at max, and everybody gets really, really well acquainted, and everybody has something special and unique and valuable to show off. It's not just the people that are launching a whole new brand and a whole new toy line. You've got veterans that have been there showing off their customs and their pieces that just improve as the years go by. Everybody just gets more talented, and all the things they're showing off is more and more interesting. It's I could spend forever talking about everyone else that's there, and so that's why we're so very excited to be there, is to get this thing that's so very new in front of people and see their reaction in person, because there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I think it's super impressive. I mean, I think you're going to draw a lot of eyes. And I know you touched on this as far as the advice you guys for set up your table. I actually I help with the Delta 17. They're like the O-ring, classic vintage O-ring, in the style of the classic O-ring GI Joes.
Right.
Very, very fun group. I've done photography for them, and I've actually gone to represent them at their table at Joe Fest 2 years in a row. And
Gotcha.
that, and I will tell you that is, having that, I mean, we go out all out. I mean, with the banners, with the tablecloths, everything. This year, one of the guys on the team, he made like this really nice diorama, and we set the figures, the whole line, the good guys and the bad guys, on this like almost like a like somewhere in the like a bunk, like a almost like Middle Eastern kind of like just like bunker setting. So it was huge. I mean, it was really impressive. He did all 3D printed, but that draws eyes to the tables. I mean, and we were like in a pretty good spot. As soon as you walk in, we're like right there, and then we're actually sitting like our table was like right next to Sergeant Slaughter's. So I mean, that traffic was kind of like, that was pretty nice to kind of have, okay, there's Slaughter there, and then you start seeing people kind of like their eyes, their everything kind of starts turning, like, because it's like the colors. I mean, the color scheme's like orange and blue, and it's a really, really vibrant.
Yeah,
And that just
draws you
catches
in.
the eye. Yeah, and I think that's one thing. As I'm learning this, the kind of this part of it, not just the the collecting and the toy photography part, but actually like that mindset of, okay, I'm helping a vendor out, I'm representing company, and it's like it is cool to kind of see that and see that general interest where people may not know about those, adult 17, or Corsair Creations, the realm, the Tide Realm course, and they could see that, and then up close, and it's like, wow, like what is this? What's this all about? Like, hey, explain this to me. I've gotten that before, and it is kind of because I'm not a social butterfly either. I kind of like I stick to my own crowd, but it's just like you got to kind of sell, and that was the hard thing for me, learning that because they would just
Upsell.
be like, tell me about this, and you probably can get that a lot. I can almost
Yeah,
guarantee it. I
yeah.
mean, people are gonna come up and they're gonna want to know like okay, what's the story, what's the lore behind this, and
All right,
I
give me a
mean,
rundown in about 30 seconds here, and that's an art in itself. Yeah, the upselling is something that I had to practice with a job that I had last summer. It didn't. I wasn't there for very long, but very much the whole push and focus of that company was upsell, and you do it the wrong way, it's just irritating. And so there's an art to it that you got to make sure that you're hitting, and it's almost more complicated to navigate that in person than anything else. But there's nothing better to do than just you know take in everything, but settle down,
mhm,
ground yourself and there it's cliche, but there really is nothing better to do than be yourself, and that's what people are there for. They're just as interested
right,
in, which is interesting for someone like me to process, but they're just as interested in you and your story, because that's what they're investing in when it comes to something like a Kickstarter,
mm,
as they are in the figures. So authenticity is the name of the game, and I don't think they really play that game any differently at Legion's Con. I think if you're not being sincere, it's going to get weeded out pretty darn quick there. So that's not something I'm very worried about, but the atmosphere is intensely genuine, and I think that should honestly make presentation a lot easier. Folks know where you're coming from. Almost everybody there is done a little bit of what you're doing, even if they're, not launching a whole franchise. They've probably had their hands in a little bit of what you're producing. Most of the artistry is within the same vein. And folks just appreciate good storytelling. So I anticipate having a difficult time having nice conversations with folks, and there's some folks that I'm especially hoping to see because having their take on it would be very, very interesting to
mm,
hear. But we anybody and everybody who's interested to look at it, and I think we'll have an interesting stream of folks make their rounds through that hallway because we've already got some really interesting heavy hitters in that place, like the
yeah,
the Legends of Ramion. Is that how it's pronounced? That's done very, very well, and he's
mhm,
done a fantastic job presenting himself. And I think he's got, if I'm not mistaken, he's got like what wave 2 and 3 as well that are
I
up
think
for
so,
display
yeah,
now with his booth. So he has even more to look at than something as early as we do. So I think there's going to be a lot of trickle down, and it'll be very natural for people to have that conversation because it's pretty similar to situations of who's getting what off the ground at what time. But I'm especially interested to hear people's feedback on just the line as a base level, like you were
mhm,
saying before. We don't see, or haven't seen anyway, the pirate theme explored in hardly any medium. And because of that, the landscape is so very blank, and it draws to mind instantly if you're going to examine it anyway. Everybody's going to have kind of their own idea of what that looks like to themselves, and
yeah,
seeing somebody put their own spin on what's going on and trying to balance I mean, for heaven's sake, John, there's an infinite amount of things to explore with this
yeah,
with this realm, and there's no limit to what could be presented. It's why I have such a hard time keeping things to myself, because most of those things have been explored within the world. Those things are either in development or are finished developing as far as the world building goes, and you have to balance. Folks feel tortured if you tease too much at one time, so it's
yeah,
best to keep what's either ready or what's relevant to what's ready. And there's lots and lots more story lore that's just going to continue to keep coming out in whatever format we're able to present it to, well in the depths into the Kickstarter. I don't actually know that I've said it publicly anywhere, but our intentions are either slightly before or possibly right on top of the Kickstarter being live. There is Our intentions are to craft a audiobook for people to listen to the presentation of, because it's going to take a
oh,
little
okay,
while for us to get the physical media, we were considering having the storybook, the chapter book part of the Kickstarter campaign. And I think that's going to be difficult to time with everything else we have to accomplish between now and then. So that's something we still want to be able to offer within the company, but it's going to take a little bit more time to put together. But the audiobook is something that we have all the resources to do on our own time right here in the studio. And it's not intended to just be, I mean, as nice as it is listening to someone like, Ian McKellen just read Lord of the Rings and have that be what it is. Our idea is, to have a story presentation, things with music and sound effects, and to be able to immerse everybody as much as possible into what's going on, well beyond the words on the page. And that's going to take quite a bit of work to get off the ground, but we want that there with the visuals that we have available. And we have several artists in the background that are working very diligently on um, more things to look at that are just prototypes at this point. And so there's two young men that have a lot of input right now and a lot of access to some of our concepts that we have in the background that we want to present to people to get an even better idea of the scope of the world. And they're looking phenomenal. We're really, really excited to put those in front of people as they just add more layers to this already very depthful world.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's man, I can't wait. And then I know you mentioned you're gonna have that. Are you gonna have the ship, the actual, the diorama ship there at the on the table, or is
I
that gonna be
wish
able
to
to make the trip?
I wish to heaven that it would never, whether we could,
Yeah,
find something big enough to transport it in, it would never survive simply because it's detailed specifically
yeah.
for a photo shoot. So it's just the interior that's fully realized and painted and sculpted and modeled after, but the outside is still blank cardboard. So you look in and it looks like a finished ship, and on the outside it's
Yeah.
still. One of these days we may detail the outside when we need that at a certain stage, but yeah, it would not survive, let alone. So I can't, within the basement that we're photographing it in, I actually cannot fully turn it around to shift angles with the camera. I have to decide exactly what we want to do with it before I sit down with it.
Oh,
Otherwise,
wow.
it'll never move. So it's like 8 feet long. It's massive, and
Wow.
it's not even approaching what it would need to be to scale. So there's a reason it took so long to do. But we very much wish that was something we could bring. So maybe someday when we have, when we're a little closer to some of these venues, just physically,
Yeah.
and have a few more of our resources, then because we would love to see, even if it was, something like a partial shipwreck that you could visualize
Oh, that'd be cool.
fully. Um, it would be more interesting than kind of a half realized interior of a ship. So there's lots of
Mhm.
ways you could approach that, but all of them would be complicated to transport. Our ambitions for what the diorama display for the convention would be transformed multiple times over the course of development, because we talked to the studio a couple times just on a personal level. Some tips they had about not just what to put up, but how to get that done. And a lot of
Yeah.
my original ideas were super impractical because so early on in the design phase, I wasn't aware that the prototypes would be as limited in articulation as they are as far as a paint master goes. So I had all these machinations about things that we would get them into, and it just wasn't practical. So the three individual things we have for each figure now are each suited for each character and are vastly more practical to display on the. We wanted a functional whirlpool, and that was probably not going to happen.
Wow. I mean, man, the detail on these guys is amazing. And I think I will say this, this is a big, that's an attention grabber right there, sculpted by, Four Horsemen
Mhm.
Studios, especially at Legion's Con. People are going to, again, if nobody's heard of the line, once they see that and they start connecting the dots, I'm like, oh wow, if it's sculpted by the Horsemen, then okay, that's going to be quality, and and it's pirates, and I mean, they look amazing. It's like all that's going to just meld together. I feel like I think it's going to just
I really
bring a lot of people, a lot of attention to it.
I really, really hope so. And actually, I'm really glad that you point that out just in these images that we've had up for so long, that that's something that we have a lot of advertising on the booth, but I don't actually think we have anything yet that specifically says, in collaboration, sculpted by whatever Four Horsemen Studio.
Hmm.
I don't actually think I have a logo like that for the booth yet. So that's something for me to keep in mind for over the next few days, and maybe I can mock up something like that because I think that would be important for people to be able to grasp head on. That not
Hmm.
everybody walking into the booth is going to have already seen it online. So that's just straight up good advice on your end unintentionally, because there's so many different. We're walking in blind as far as how much we're going to be able to fit on that table. I know how big it's going to
Hmm.
be, but um, I hope we can get everything that we have to display on there, because our intention is also to display the test shot of Deathmoid that we showed a few months ago,
Oh
who's
yeah.
totally unpainted, obviously, and we don't have a grandiose display for him, but we do have, a fully painted platform for him to be on, just as something interesting for folks to absorb when it comes to, the making of the product. I think it might have been a month ago that we posted it. I know it's down there somewhere. It should be on the Instagram, and I know it's on the website as well. But there's like 100
Okay.
ways to get a hold of the same thing. There he is. There he is at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Where's
I
he?
was gonna say, I
Is that
think
him?
we made the rounds with that. Yep, that unpainted one is, and
Oh,
he's actually
nice.
made out of. He's going to be even more interesting to transport because he's made out of a slightly more fragile material than the paint masters. So he's extremely
Okay.
delicate, and all that's there is all that's there. And we,
Hmm.
we photographed him off of the print tray that he was
Nice.
originally. They printed him like that and sent him to me like that as well. So I got to pop him off the tray and assemble him very meticulously, carefully myself. And so he is what he is, and he's going to be interesting to get. I have a feeling he's going to need to be assembled and probably secured at the
Hmm.
convention as opposed to beforehand, because
Yeah.
he's so different in nature than he is to the paint masters. But he's really, really cool to look at just because you get I don't anticipate if somebody asks if they're very, very interested in seeing some of those details that, of course, are present and folks can look at online already. Under the coats, it's quite the process to get them disrobed at the paint master stage so folks can look at them. But if somebody's
Hmm.
really, really interested, we'll do our best to try and meet that need at the table. But this guy is a really good way to just get a look at the base sculpt, and you can see
Yeah.
most of the articulation lines and what to expect from the buck just as is. And I think that's especially important for folks to be able to get a good look at, because of course they share like 65-70% of that tooling. So how Deathmoid moves is very similar to how everybody else moves as well.
Hmm.
And he's just interesting. That gray plastic, even though this is not at a as high resolution of filament as the paint masters are, you just get a good look at all those details that are in there, better than you would sometimes when they're painted. Just whatever it is about that Games Workshop gray, as I've heard it referred to, you get a really
Yeah.
good sense of depth when it comes to all the things that are already there.
Man, I mean, look at these, man. These look so incredible. The when do you get into New Jersey? Is it I've been hearing some people are getting in Wednesday, some people are getting in Thursday. Um, do you know what day you guys are coming in?
We pulled it because again, it was so ridiculously expensive. It still gives me anxiety, but we had to pull it as tight as, coming in and out. So we fly
Yep.
in like 1 or 2 hours behind where we're at the East Coast. So it's all kinds of craziness just getting there the day of. But we come in like that Thursday evening. And so we just
Okay.
have that Friday morning where everybody's setting up, and then I think that's when GCon happens as well, to just get
Yep.
acclimated. So we have about an evening of hopefully trying to get some amount of sleep, and then we're right at it. I wish that we were coming in like a Tuesday, honestly, so that you're right across from Manhattan, and that's something that's been a lifelong dream of mine to just experience. And so I wish we had a few days to kind of get a look around of where we are, but it's going to be
Yeah.
Legion's on in and out and back home with as much as we could afford, and that'll be quite the adventure and taste for, two 20-year-old kids that have never done this before on its own. That's what's going on. So I think it'll be plenty as is. But yeah, it'll be tight. It'll be busy, and so I'm hoping to be able to chat with everybody possible while we're there, because we have a couple sit downs if the horsemen have time that we'd like to have with them that are just
Mhm.
getting more of the ball rolling when it comes to the Kickstarter. There's still tons to discuss to get that ready, and for that landing page to be set up for folks to take a look at as well, because we've got honestly a more substantial following on just about everything that you can touch to get a hold of some of these images than I expected by this point. But we would like to see that reflected as far as the Kickstarter landing page goes. We want to get as many folks that are on board and consistently viewing the content on the platforms we have now onto that, and that'll be a little bit of work as well. But so we're just ourselves dipping our toes into this matrix, and there's still tons and tons of work to do. But this convention is the biggest hurdle I've anticipated for the majority of this process in the near future, because it's quite overwhelming. There's so much we're looking at getting done by ourselves as two people, and we're pretty much ready, but then you got to go do it, and that's a whole other conversation.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, just I think actually I might have a table, not a LegionsCon, but here in the Dallas area, there's a GI Joe Fest. I may be representing Delta 17 there, and I can only imagine. And I'm gonna probably have to do it by myself. So it's one of those things where it's like it's gonna be like, oh man, like I don't. I mean, hopefully I can, I can handle it, which I think I should be able to. But
Yeah.
man, something like Lee's Con is a more of a beast, but I feel very confident that you're gonna knock it out of the park. And again, it's more or less. I mean, people are just gonna come to you, and it's just like what is going on here? What like tell me more, because this is like this is like incredible.
Well, I absolutely love that the sculpts on their own did exactly what we set out to do. And like I've
Yeah.
said so many times before, we wanted very much for just the imagery of the character that's in front of you to be drawing you in for you to ask
Mhm.
questions. There's an art to simplicity in the fact that you can look at something, and it isn't about comparison. There's just differences when you have different intentions with products. But you look at something like a skeleton builder from Four Horsemen, and that thing tells its story
Mhm.
of what it is, almost immediately. You don't have to analyze it very quickly. You can
Yeah.
see what its purpose is. And then you look at somebody like Necronominus, he's got a little bit more going on, and you kind of wonder what exactly that guy's supposed to be. And it kind of, you go through the whole gambit with a lot of what Four Horsemen already does. You can have somebody that's got a pretty simplistic concept that tells the story right away, and you got somebody that has a little bit more depth and world building, and there's a purpose for all of that, because you have something that people can gravitate to that's easily recognizable but not so abstract that it takes them a minute to relate to. And that's one of the things that we like most about Deathmoid specifically. Think it's probably why he's become kind of the flagship, so to speak, it's
Mhm.
to coin the phrase, because he you could explain him. You can explain him. We will explain him for the folks that are asking, because there's so much to him. But you don't have to. You can take him in as what he is.
Yeah.
It's very, very clear what he's supposed to be. And in my opinion, the same does go for the other two. It's not abstract as far as what they're trying to achieve, but there's so much going on with each character that it's very, very clear that these guys are not just pirates. And that in
Mhm.
itself is pretty much the whole theme and the whole flavor of the whole line, is everyone is supposed to be a little bit more than as they appear, without, stealing one of Hasbro's most famous taglines. That's not really going to work, but Charybdis especially is, in my opinion, the most interesting to dissect, because he's just as layered personally as he is visually. There's so much to him, and right now we're knee deep in developing a lot of his interpersonal interactions with the characters within the story. He's somebody
Mhm.
that's reoccurring, especially with what we're developing right now, and he's so fun, and everybody that comes with him is so fun, and we're really, really excited to hint at and showcase as much as we can get away with when it comes to the Tideborn specifically, as we think folks are responsive to Deathmoid because he's just straight up cool. You're not going to not like a skeleton pirate. Folks are
Yeah.
responsive to Alistair because he's a badass pirate and he's doing, almost everything that you would wish a typical pirate action figure to achieve, but has this, subtle grandiose to him that I don't like to make comparisons, but even having the unarticulated paintmaster in hand and something like Diamond Select's Jack Sparrow, which is a very, very good translation of
Yeah.
what that character is, they don't feel like the same animal. And I feel like folks that have Alistair in hand are kind of going to go, why aren't all pirate figures like this? And that was our intention with him. It's, they're not trying to fling around some egotistical thing because most of that credit goes to the horseman, but he really is what those that vision should be, because just because it's a humanoid character doesn't mean it's an unimaginative character, and he's supposed to be pushing that flavor of everything you imagine a high fantasy pirate to be, and do it all well, and they did a fantastic job with that. When it comes to Charybdis, though, all of the interpersonal interactions he has with everything that goes into his crew members, the world building, the layers that he has to where he comes with, um, they're so entertaining is the best word I can use. Everybody has this very dark and gritty aesthetic, and yet you have this really interesting dynamic with Charybdis and the rest of his crew, who are all, it's fairly obvious that everybody's that potentially could stand a side alongside him is also an animal. And they do that literally. Their motivations are interesting because they clash against each other in these really interesting and creative ways that can sometimes even be comical at times. There's so many characters that go on the depths despair that are interesting to read about just on their own. You don't even have to have them interacting with an opposing faction for them to be fascinating. And we're really, really excited to put some of those characters in front of folks. We had a couple weeks ago, there was just a little, it was barely a tease of one of the characters that's most pivotal that goes alongside him. And he's a little blue piratey crab by the name of Pilferus, who the crew has nicknamed as Snitch. And we
Oh,
have
nice.
just a little doodle of him that came out. He's been extravagant, well, not extravagantly, but he's been in development for just as long as everybody else. There's lots and lots to go with him, but what we chose to show was something very innocent and very rudimentary when it came to what goes into making these guys what they are. And it's just a little line drawing on a piece of note paper, but he's such an endearing and pivotal piece of the storyline, and he kind of encompasses this blurred line of factions within the group. There isn't, it's not always as simple as good versus evil in this storyline.
Right.
And Snitch is something that he's my wife's personal favorite character, and he doesn't even have anything sculpted yet. He's so well developed that he feels very
Yep.
real already, and we're very, very excited to be able to reach the point where he becomes a reality too. It's just so intensely flushed out as is that sometimes there's moments where it's hard to remember that these still are the three that we're working with right now, and it's these guys that need to pave the way for everybody else, and these are still to this day the characters we're most proud of, which is why we led with them, and we're very, very confident folks are going to have just as much fun with them in hand as we've had crafting them.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a good point. I sometimes I get the excitement, and that's like, oh man, because it's like you're especially like developing the story, developing the characters and the lore, and I could definitely see, especially myself, just being like so like, oh man, we got this character, this character, this character, this character. It's like, and
Right.
you just want it all just come, but it's okay. You have to level set though, and like yeah, just focus on the three, and obviously seeing these in these pictures, it's like, I mean, the time, the dedication, I mean, that's where, I mean, is really really nice to see, because I mean, yeah, you can definitely tell that the work put in is there. I mean, super, super impressive. And it's just, you know, the allure of wanting to just make a whole wave of like maybe like just 10 or something like that. But it's like,
Right.
to be more focused is okay. We got the three that we want, and we're going to show off, and these are like the three main for right now. And it's like, I'm impressed, but I think that to have that restraint, I get it, man. I imagine it is hard because I mean, it's like, you know, like the stories, coming together, and it's just I could tell, I could sense that, yeah, it's like there's so many characters we wanna talk about or just show sketches or whatever. But I mean, yeah, it's like just good for me. Yeah, I mean, I would love like like little creatures and stuff like that, or things like that. Little sidekick characters, which again, all that is there. I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff there in the in this kind of realm. So it just, man, I'm just super super excited.
Torturous when it comes to, even just a live stream like this, the amount of things that it has to feel unfair to somebody talking directly to me because it's all here. It's all right there, and it goes back to
Yeah,
back to back to back to back, and there's layers and layers and layers of everything that there's just we have no right to reveal to people yet and get folks that excited about.
yeah,
Just no promise of that horizon, even though half of our
yeah,
tagline is endless horizons. We want to make sure that people have realistic expectations from us just as a company since we're starting. Half the reason the wave is what it is just a budgetary reason, but it's tactical on two fronts because I think, like I've mentioned in the past, we want folks to be able to gently jump into a new theme and get familiarized with what's going on and have some preconceived notions of what might be coming, not only because mystery tends to spur on investment. You don't want to reveal everything right away because
right,
folks have something to think about. Otherwise, you don't really have anything to imagine. You don't have a lot to get excited about. Now it's just a waiting game, and that can get frustrating. But it's such an interesting property to work on, not only because we have the wonderful opportunity of diving into a world that no one's really dissected yet, a theme that people haven't approached in a very long time, but it's such a bizarre experience as something like this could very much border, or at least experientially for me, it borders on, you get a new release of, something you're familiar with, like Star Wars,
mm,
only they're doing it differently this time. And you go, oh, that's so cool. I hope they do this, that, you have already have expectations of what that horizon should look like. And when it comes to this IP, obviously we're crafting everything ourselves. All these characters have come from us and they're coming out of nowhere. They're original to this world, and it doesn't ever the more we put into it, it doesn't really feel like it feels like a world that's already existed. It feels like something
mm,
that we can have preconceived notions of just as creators. So it's really really hard to stay away from just our interpersonal expectations of what we want it to be, because there's so much flushed out within this landscape. It was virtually impossible to narrow down, just who to lead with this first wave, because we submitted a ton to Horseman. And it's funny just knowing Cornboy better than I did then, and I imagine
mm,
he must have just looked at his email with confusion based on how much we were putting in front of him, since we were, by that point, complete nobodies. It's not like they had, another company that was branching into action figures and they've got, all these renders ready for folks to just interpret into their vision. We were starting from the ground up with bare bones concept sketches and literally just ideas. And the only problem was that there was dozens of those ideas, and they were very very helpful in narrowing down who was most important to put in front of everybody. And the story naturally, kind of got those guys into priority number one, two, and three. But it was so difficult to pick, and even now it takes a lot of restraint to not get distracted sitting down establishing the marketing for that week.
mm,
And I'll find myself conceptualizing parts of, what I want wave 2 to be. and it's just you can't get that far ahead. You lose time with some of the things you're trying to do now, but they're all irons that we have in the fire, and there's things that we know what we would do the minute this is successful. We know what we would be working towards next. We have so many intentions for this line that we really hope folks embrace it as fully as they seem to be, because we know exactly where we want to steer this ship. And it's to places that, as strange as it sounds, are even cooler than these three.
Nice, nice. One thing I am kind of curious about, like that relationship with the Horsemen and that collaborative effort, like kind of how did that begin? Because it's just like, man, like again, I've been a huge fan of them, way even like way back in the day. I mean, like in the early 2000s, and it's
Mhm.
just I wonder how does that come about? Is it just like, hey, you just hit them up going, hey, Quaid, got this new line coming out, like, can you guys help me out with it? Like, I'm just curious how that kind of, that sort of partnership kind of just, how it's, how it's born, how it kind of comes to fruition.
I think I've touched on it a couple of times throughout over the last couple of months, because that's always a point of fascination with folks, and it
Hmm.
really doesn't seem like it should be as simple as it was, which is why I was so confused looking at my email when I was. But it really was as straightforward as, you know, it was reaching out to a stranger about something that was very personal and very ambitious, but it was as simple as that. I sent an email and said, I have an idea and I have some resources to pull it off. What do you guys think? And it went from there. And everything was highly collaborative from beginning to finish, and within reason. You know, they've got 25 plus is it 25 or is it 20 years that we're celebrating? I can't
I think
remember.
Well, I think with Mythics, I think it's 10 years, I think, because I think
Okay.
last year was the 10 year, but yeah, Horsemen themselves, I mean, yeah, they've been around for quite a bit. I think
I
coming up on 20 years, if I remember.
I almost, because I know I ran into a post by Corn Boy the other day, and I think it was
Hmm.
25 as far as them
Yeah,
being company that they are. But so,
right.
they have such a vast plethora of things that they've done over the course of their careers, right down to designing Hot Wheel tracks. I mean, there's very little
Yeah.
that they haven't done. So, sometimes that line of people, relating to each other on a beginner as opposed to a master could get blurred between conversations, but on average, it was really, really easy for everybody to relate to each other because they communicated with us like we were what we are, and they are what they are, and have started from the beginning like that, and had a dream and wanted to share it with everybody. And they were very, very good about maintaining that perspective, which I think would be really, really difficult to get from, again, the people at Hasbro and Mattel are I'm big, big fans of too. They've made things that mean the world to me. But it's really, really hard to have a relationship with that company. If you have
Yeah.
a positive or a negative, it's just that voice just pretty much gets drowned out because there's no landscape for it. And these guys are, they're not just producing things for you to consume. They are collaborating with you on a baseline. And the fact that they have the resources that they do to offer out to people, if they have the resources to bring something like this to life, is something that I've never seen any other company even humor. And it's amazing. And it's absolutely the type of business that we would want to work with anyway. I don't think on a personal level, just operating, a company within my own moral spectrum, I don't think I would be very interested in doing it any differently than how they are, because it's so interpersonal and intentional, and the quality that they're presenting is for that sake alone. It doesn't generally, there's logistics that you have to sort through when it comes to realistically producing a product. But that bottom line of making sure that you get something that looks like what it's supposed to be, as cheap as possible, is never part of the conversation. It's never what's being analyzed. It's how do we make this the best we possibly can to that very last paint app, without breaking ourselves, and make sure that it's a product that folks are not just consuming but are loving and caring for at the end of the day, and it's something that means something to them, as opposed to, well, here's this month's wave, because it can get like that as a collector. You almost
Yeah.
stop relating to what you're doing, because if you have the resources, you can kind of put it on autopilot and have a semi-constant stream of $25 action figures coming to your door, you know, a couple times a month, and sometimes those things get lost in the cracks. And that's why we're excited that we have such a unique theme to explore here, because it hopefully will resonate immediately with people who do then have them on the shelves, because there's nothing else like them. And we really, really, really are in awe over the prospect of having just as vast of a landscape as, well, I can't remember what it is. They have that awesome book coming out that's going to cover a lot of it, but I think Horsemen have almost
Oh, yeah.
300 products just for mythics under their belt.
Yeah.
That's not counting everything else they've done. And those are absolutely lofty goals that we have for ourselves, but it takes 25 years for you to get there. So it's a long haul, and you have to be ready for that. And I got some really good advice from a really, really good friend the other day, that he'll have a booth of, he's got his own products of, um, my good buddy Brian. He's got the Ash and Oath series coming out, and I think most folks have probably run into that as well. And he gave me
Oh,
some
okay.
fantastic advice of just that you have to love the industry in order to, and I think it applies for most things you care about and most industries as a whole, but especially this one. You have to love and adore what you're doing, because it's that's going to get through the difficult times, and there will be some. Just because you're working on something fun like a toy, the logistics of keeping something like this afloat are sometimes scary. They just are. You take a lot of risks jumping into an investment like that, and I've had good conversations with several fans that I've just posed the question to them, because everybody within the community is so vastly talented in their own right, and Brian specifically has been doing things like this by hand himself twice as long as I haven't touched on some of the experience that he has, and that's why he's putting out a line on his own. But it doesn't survive if it's not renewable, if it's not something that you care very, very deeply about. And there's moments where what's feeding you might not be what's on the dinner table. It's all the passion and
Yeah.
work that you put into what you're doing. And that's the reality of it. And I think that's what people come up against, when I just as a creator and a fan, why aren't more people doing this? It seems like more people would be jumping into, it's not like it's, that easily accessible, but it was more easily accessible than I thought. How come more people don't have their own toy line? And it's very much that fear of the unknown, and it's the most frightening and intimidating thing I've ever done. And we're right in the middle of it, and we don't have any promise of our hope at the end, but we have
Mhm.
a lot of good indicators and a lot of really, really supportive fans and supportive collaborators that very much believe in what we're putting out for folks. And there's no strange measure of competitive gatekeeping going on. It's everybody within this community is interested in seeing people's art and passion, and all of that combined to turn into a product. They just want to see that come to fruition. And it's risky, but I've never seen a community like people that I'm talking to right now. I've never seen folks rally behind something like this in the way that they are. Almost every fan base I've ever interacted with is, you know, it's folks have a safe place to be strong about their opinions, and mostly folks like to argue about what they feel a company should have done with Starscream's knees or Captain America's elbows, or
Yeah.
it can boil down to superficial things like that. But and those are all things that there's room to talk about. But the folks that stick behind this independent company, and everyone that's either come into the fold or has branched out directly from the fold, are very, very supportive and very, very understanding. And so long as you're authentic with what you're putting in front of people, you kind of can't go wrong. There's a ton of risk involved, but there's a great measure of safety we feel, and just the fact that even if things don't go 100% like we're planning, there's a landscape out there that's ready for us, and we're very confident Tide Realm Corsairs has a place, and I don't think it's going to be an argument trying to get these into people's hands, because just talking to someone like you, John, it's highly encouraging for folks to just get Quaid to shut up for a minute and just talk about the pirate, because it's that fun.
Oh man, I mean, yeah, but I mean, again, just staring at these, these. I mean, they're like works of art. I mean, it's just, I mean, yes, it's a action figure, it's a toy, but I mean, I mean, the details and everything on it, they just look so amazing. And it's just, if you could give some, I mean, advice to people that maybe are wanting to do something like this, somebody, that wants to, like, oh yes, like, want to, they have ideas, I want, because a lot of times I've seen people where, they like, Horsemen, Hasbro, whoever, right? They'll make us, they have us, they have lines, they have figures, and it's like, well, they're not making kind of what I feel would want to see, and it's like,
Mhm.
and sometimes I tell them, well, go make your own, I mean, and that's, I think, seeing, like you and other people, you know what, brutal realm and from the realm,
As example,
with
yep.
Carlos. Yeah, I mean, they have specific, I mean, because again, horsemen may not want to dive more into maybe super horror figures or anything like that. And if that's
Mhm.
what you want, then go do it. And I would just, like to know, like, if, from your standpoint, what would be some advice or some just tips, or just, and this, I mean, still kind of short. I mean, this, experience that you've had with doing this, but I mean, we see, I mean, the work that you're putting in, and it's
Mhm.
amazing, and it's happening. I mean, yeah, what would be, just some, advice to somebody who want to do that?
It's interesting to try to, boil that down to something practical, but I think, what it came down to me, one, it's best for something that matters very, very much to you, for you to get that established within your own head first, just on an individual level, regardless of how anyone else feels. How much do you care about this? How much is this something that would keep you awake at night if you didn't do it? And at the end of the day, that was what the conversation was between myself and my wife, because for real, our investment was, nearly, we were not only just coming together as a couple of, individuals starting to build a life together, but our assets that we had were limited, and it took all of it to make it real. And
Mhm.
I just sat on the bed after having what was a miraculous email of Cornboy just putting all the facts in front of me, which are some big, big numbers to swallow, depending on what stage you're at. Um, and the scare, like I've said a couple of times before, the scariest part was that it was possible. You at least had the structure there to start it, and that was what was most terrifying. And I couldn't bear, honestly, to look at her in that moment, because it was going to require everything. But I knew that if I just said it's too scary, we don't know how to commit to that, that I would carry it forever. And that if I didn't do it now, not only would it possibly, the opportunity may never come again, but you may never have the opportunity to do it the way you would now, at the height of your passion, at the height of who you are and what you're putting into that. And at the end of the day, when you have a vision, you're the only one who can bring it into reality. And so it's not about having this measure of confidence in yourself. It's, can you live with yourself when you don't take that risk? And if you can walk out of the room and leave that piece of paper, that concept that you have in your head, and go for it, because I had to do that. Go for a couple weeks with, you might not be able to stop thinking about it, but imagine your life with, and imagine your life without it. And if you can't stand it, then I don't think there's any reason to not try to make it happen. But it is going to, you have got to be upfront with yourself with how much endurance you have. And I am not a very patient person. just by nature, and this is teaching me how to be patient. So you don't have to have all the tools at your disposal within yourself to make this happen. But I would say for anybody who wants to do anything like this, that, this is not the first time I've committed to a massive project like this. It's just the first time I've committed to making products and getting those in people's hands. But I worked on a fan film for almost 4 years straight with one goal in mind to get it done, and that was at 18 years old. And those are just the facts. It was me every day that was getting me out of bed to make that happen. So your measure of commitment has to be just as equal as your belief in what you're doing. But if you get all that figured out and you're very, very confident in how much this matters to you on an individual level, then you go out, then you do your research on how much do you think this is going to matter to everybody else. And if you can find just one just one little, and it doesn't hardly take any monetary investment to start just asking questions, interacting with people. It's very much, I go back to a line that's from what's now a very dated cartoon called Robots, and you have this big rotund character that his whole mantra is see a need, fill a need. And it's funny because that little story was so very inspiring to me as a 7-year-old,
Mhm.
and it still is to this day, because it's talking about exactly what I'm doing. And there is a synchronization that you can find between what you're dreaming and what people need. And as odd as it sounds about something frivolous like a toy line, these are filling people's needs. There's an emotional gap that someone wants to experience when it comes to this whole line, someone individually like Morningstar. There's a reason we're baking in such personal details when it comes to who these characters are, because somewhere out there, there's someone who needs what this is, and it will birth something later that will matter to someone after that. Inspiration is contagious, quite literally, but money is not. And you have to have that real
Yep.
conversation with yourself when you're on that baseline. And so if you're not at a place that makes any sense for you to put yourself into potential, even a little debt is going to probably come here and there depending on what the process is. But if you're just in no place to jump in, do not take that as your indicator that this
Yep.
can't happen. It's just make sure you have a safe place for that thing and cultivate it. Do not put it in a corner and treat it like something that's just a dream. Dreams exist for a reason, and they're supposed to be breathed life into. There's so many people that take what matters to them and put it aside because life is handing them all the things that life's going to hand you anyway. And most of the things that life's going to hand you are going to be fairly boring and
Mhm.
fairly expensive and sometimes a little hurtful. And so, why not invest yourself into those things that matter most? And you do only get to do this once. It's not about YOLO or whatever it's saying now that is. It's, you do only live once, and you can live smartly and fruitfully. You don't have to settle for practicality. Nobody's in this hobby if they like things that are practical, and there's no reason to put your creativity and your artistry aside simply because there's bills to pay. There will always be bills to pay, and there's some times where you might actually have one meal a day for a little while if this is what matters most to you. And that's, I think, what people come up against. And I can only say that it doesn't get easier, it gets harder, but it also becomes more valuable and more worth it with every passing day. So it's complicated to
Mhm.
to get off the ground, but I don't think it's complicated to decide. If you see something that people are asking for and it's scratching an itch that you've been asking for too, keep having those conversations. Even if you don't have that money yet to bring something to life, keep talking about it. And I guarantee somebody's going to respond.
Nice. Very well said. I mean, very, very well said. Yeah, I agree 100% on all those points. It was, yeah, I think that is the main, thing is, is this something that, like you mentioned, it's something that you can live without? Like if you walked away from it, if it's just going to keep you up at night, if it's just going to be something that, I want to see this come to fruition. It may not have the resources at the moment, but that's a goal that you can you can drive to. Something that eventually you can get to that point. But
Well, it's
man,
very important just for. Sorry, I'll just wrap up there with this last thought here. It's just very important
mhm,
for people to have a goal. There's so many folks
yeah,
that, it's to me that this is what this is about. And this is something that it's not just about, I want to have my own toy line. I do want to have my own toy line, but I also want that toy line to be saying something that resonates
yeah,
with people long term. I want it to add more value than just this thing they have in their hand, as wonderfully amazing as that thing they have in their hand is. And I don't think it's healthy for anybody to not have a trajectory. I don't think it's healthy for anybody to not have something that they can long for without torturing themselves with, as long as it's out of reach. And I think it's necessary for people to have something to strive for that's meaning something within themselves, because that's only going to propel people in the same direction. And purpose is something that I think we're seeing less and less of today for almost everybody, regardless of what hobby you're into. And art is important for that reason. That space for self-expression is something that everyone needs. And if somebody like me can just give someone a new world to hold and be a part of, and that gives them the space later to do the same thing themselves, even if it's just on the living room floor with their little boy, then it's a job well done. Then I've succeeded.
oh man, that's great, and I think you are going to succeed. I think once the Kickstarter starts, and well, in a couple weeks, once you have them, on the table at Legion's Con, I mean, I think yeah, it's going to just generate more traffic. It's going to generate more interest, and I think yeah, once the Kickstarter starts, I personally don't see an issue and don't see you having a problem getting it funded. I mean, it's like I'm going to make sure me Dimitri, sadly he couldn't be on here. He wanted to, but other stuff came
That
up.
was
But
rough.
yeah,
I was
it
disappointed.
was yeah. He but no, I mean, he this is stuff that is in our warehouse. So just like I said, just it scratches that itch. And it's just something that yeah, I think it's going to be more just fun. I mean, just more fun to get into this line, into this world. I put up the map earlier, and I think seeing stuff like that, and similar to Mythic Legions with the with the the map of Mythos, and now we have this, and it's just like it's so cool to
Uh,
kind of just see that and have it all like branch out and just have all these different worlds to just go explore. I mean it's endless. It's endless. The possibilities with this, and I'm excited. I'm excited. Excited to meet you in a couple weeks, and then excited to see these up close. Yeah. Um, truly incredible, man. And again, hats off to you for all the work you've done, and to get to this point. It's just incredible achievement, and yeah, just
well, I appreciate it
wish you the best, man.
immensely. Well, I can't ever. It's likewise with everybody we talk to, because it really is that you can put all the work you want into it, but these things don't exist without folks that have chosen to relate to it and
Right.
have an individual reason for being invested. And it is fans like you and Dimitri and everybody else we've talked to and everybody we have yet to talk to. It's you guys that deserve the credit for making something like this happen. So that's what a Kickstarter is, and hopefully we get to the point where those
Yeah.
are crutches that we can shake off. But that's very much what makes these things so valuable. They don't happen without other people's investment, and that's alone is, in my opinion, infinitely more valuable than the products themselves. You guys as fans work hard for what you have too, and you're investing a piece of yourself into an idea that you believe in, and that's what makes these so special. And we can't thank anybody enough, no matter what they have to say about it, whether it's a laugh react because they think Charybdis's face is funny, or a diatribe going on about how cool they think it is, because it
Yeah.
all of it is engagement, and all of it matters to us. And there's no wasted space when it comes to folks getting invested in Tide Realm Corsairs, and we do not get tired of talking about it, or answering questions. And I can't, as intimidated as I am, I can't wait to get to this convention because it's going to be like nothing I've ever done. And I can't believe I'm saying the words out loud that that's what I'm doing.
Oh man, I can't wait either. I mean, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. You know, I mean, I'm sure you have, there's certain things you want to accomplish there, but again, the after party stuff's always fun. You know, the hangouts and stuff. I mean, that to me, that
Right.
that is that is a big part of it. Is just the camaraderie. But man, I want to thank you for coming on tonight and just again talking more about this amazing line. Talking
Of
about Tide
course.
Realm and just I mean, I cannot wait to see him up close. But yeah, I mean, just yeah, just best of luck, man. And I'm sure this is going to be going off without without an issue. I mean, I feel like once the Kickstarter starts, I think you're gonna be off. It's gonna be off to the races.
We sure
But
hope
want to
so.
thank everyone. So just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Go check out. I put it on the banner, and right there, Tide Realm Corsairs. Go to their website where you can see, these amazing figures. Also, go follow them on Instagram. Their Instagram is Corsair Creations. And again, Quaid, I want to just thank you so much, sir, for being on with me. And again, just talking toys. I mean, I can do it, all day. I love talking about it. I love,
Same here.
just you know, especially when new stuff like this comes out. But man, I just want to thank you for joining, and just you have a good evening. And everyone
You
else out there
too.
too, have a good evening.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.